this is where we're gonna start and end the tour. This is our PDI bay, or pre-delivery inspection. So this is where all of our units will come and get their final audits before they're shipped out and sent to wherever they go. It's pretty cool. We do things a little different. So we will PDI every single unit. And then not only that, we'll also go through a sales walk. So one of our sales reps for your area, whether it's Scout, myself, or some other sales guy, will come out here and he'll audit the unit just like if it was on the lot. So he'll do one final inspection. So it's kind of cool to see how many different lines of defense they have before they ship it out. A little backstory for Alliance, if you guys aren't familiar with it. We were founded in 2019 by two brothers, Ryan and Coley Brady. Their father's the one that started Heartland RV, so once they got bought out by Thor, it's kind of when they made the transition, once they started to see the quality of the product start to come down, as well as customer service. So 2019, they founded Alliance. They didn't build a single unit for about the first 6 months. They just spent time collecting feedback from consumers to see what they wanted in a unit and see where those major warranty claims were. So when we head on the line, you'll see a lot of emphasis along the running gear, because that's one of the biggest emphasis, as well as the sidewalls and the roof material as well. All these buildings we go through today, none of them were here in 2019. This was all cornfield. So I'll point out the building that they started and made the first 15 paradigms in, and then from there we'll go to the start of the production line, make our way through, and then we'll finish back over here. Building that they made those first 15 paradigms in, you can see that building's pretty small. The garage doors can't even fit any of these full-blown units in there, so they actually had to finish the units outside. So really limited on when they could produce, so only days like this they could bring the unit out and put it all together. So first 15 were made there, and they were very happy once plant 1 was built up. So this now does all of our Valor units. The plant next door does our Paradigm, the furthest plant does the Avenues, and then we're breaking ground on our newest plant, which if you guys tuned in yesterday for the live stream, we announced the Delta line, which is our bumper pull travel trailers. So exciting times for that. That one's gonna be about twice the size of the plant that we go through today, just to put it in perspective. Nails, whatnot. They've always done PDI, a little more of a tomorrow. Yeah. Brought in, they're going to be brought through the door over there. That little yellow screen, that's our chassis flipper. It'll take the chassis, flip it upside down. That way they can install the underbelly to the unit. It's a lot easier for our workers. They're not on their back all day working upwards. They're able to use gravity rather than work against it. Once that underbelly's been all installed, it's going to come over here. It's going to look just like this. Your tank's going to be fixed into place. Your wiring is going to be starting to get added. If you take a peek through on the water tank right here, the fresh water tank, you're going to notice that there's a frame underneath it. So typically, you're going to have just these hurricane straps underneath your tanks. That's why you hear those horror stories of people's tanks falling through when they're on the road. But we've actually built them into the frame, so that way if you want to run with your tanks 3/4 full, you're able to do that. They'll all have 12-volt heat pads underneath it to make it 4-season as well. And then they're going to have the PEX plumbing under it connected with it as well.
External sensor. Yep. There's a panel right there showing you where the external sensor is.
It's going to run across the running gear. So the nice thing about having that 10-inch I-beam and just having an extra 2 inches along that stress point, which is along the running gear, is you get rid of all the weight at the other places that you don't need that extra strength. This is the part that's getting the most stress. Not only that, but it also acts as a secondary shock absorbent. So normally right above that spring hanger, you'll just have a little steel gusset that runs right across here, probably about 6 inches wide. That's your shock absorbent. So this is much longer. It goes, you know, 10 feet or so. So it gives you that extra shock absorbent in there. Another thing that we hit on along the running gear is gonna be the suspension. So we use the CRE 3000. We've upgraded the shackle and wet bolt kit. So it's a 1/2 inch instead of the industry standard 1/4 inch or 3/8 inch there. We've also overcompensated on your springs. So if your unit has 7K axles, you're gonna have 8K springs along with it. So allowing you to support that full GVWR without your springs flattening as easy over time. And then also on the spring hangers, you'll notice that there's 2 additional weld points. That's for a V bracket. Those spring hangers are something that bends and flexes over time, so we shortened it, but we also fortified it. So those 2 additional welds normally go in after there's a problem. So we thought, why wait? Why not be proactive rather than reactive? So we added that from the start. And lastly here, tires. This is probably the most important when you're going down the road. Can't control what's on the road, but we try to control this as much as we can. We fit right in between a G and an H tire. We call them Super G. They're about 320 pounds more carrying capacity than a standard G tire, as well as a higher heat rating at 93 miles an hour. You can see your hydraulic fluid cables going through it as well. That's gonna be the orange and the black cables. That's gonna be for your main slides as well as your leveling system, which we'll talk about a little later on in the tour. It's gonna be different from this tour versus the Paradigm or the Avenue. It's gonna be that flooring area. So in your main living room, this is gonna be your floor. It's gonna be situated on a 4-inch aluminum frame, which you can see the frame over there. In between the frame and the wood, you're gonna have batten insulation that's gonna run across the whole line. Then you'll have a marine grade true board. It comes with that 25-year warranty. It's about 5/8 inch. That's gonna be situated on top. And then you'll have the stretchy linoleum finish on top. So that will be in the main living area. For the actual Valor, the toy hauler part, you're gonna have the material that's over there. Also, it's all gonna be wrapped in Stargo. It's gonna be a fixing composite material. It's a lot thinner. It's only about 1 inch thick, but it's still super heavy duty. It'll hold up to 3,000 pounds. So bringing in those toys in the back. It's going to have that L-track routed out in the back for the toy haulers, which is really important. It gives you a ton of tie-down potential. And then that's going to have that L-track metal frame routed into the actual Vixen. The nice thing about Vixen is it's more water resistant, so you can bring in your toys while being wet. And it's also, unlike wood, it's able to give and return back to its original shape, being a composite. Where wood, once it gives a little more until it breaks. So that helps with that. Right here you can see just the color as well as the height difference. This is only about 1 inch thick, while the main floor is that 4 inch. So you can really tell that difference. Without the walls on them, and fit all that stuff in there. So that's why they'll do it that way. That's something they switched to.
It's an outdoor patio model right there. The stickers.
Okay. So
bunch of stickers.
for that, there's different size refrigerators.
Because this is the walls, and they're going to put the stickers on those walls.
Okay. Out those side walls, it'll take 7 days start to finish for a wall to be properly made. It has to sit there, allow the glue and adhesives to lock in. That whole building is going to be in a temperature and humidity controlled environment. So that way you're not getting temperature changes and flex points in the walls. For the walls themselves, it's going to have the aluminum frame that's going to be about 2 inches thick. You're going to have block foam insulation as that insulator on the inner parts, as well as an Asdel layer, which if you come over on the side, you'll be able to see it. You're going to have an Asdel on the outer wall as well as on the inner wall. So in other fifth wheels, normally that's where you see the wood. So when you walk in on the door, you open it up right where that door would lock in. You can look on the inside and you'll see that Luan wood. This is the Asdel. So the nice thing about Asdel, it's basically twice the insulation factor as Luan wood, and it's about half the weight. It's just a lot more expensive. Not only that, it's pretty water resistant, so if water ever does get in your sidewall, it should evaporate out or slide through.
Glue on wood, you kind of think of it like cardboard. If you drop water on it, it's going to spread. That's what leads to delamination. So far I haven't had any delamination cases, so knock on wood if there was wood. We are going to keep on that track. So other than that, it's going to have the gloss fiberglass finish on the outside, and that's going to be the outer wall there. It's going to be that they're not completely routed out. You can see just the corners are left not cut. So we do that for a reason. We want to make sure you get the same slide out with the same wall. So they are cut out by humans, so sometimes there's a mismatch in size or a mismatch in color. All those slide outs are going to have a VIN and model number marked on there. So once they are paired up with the unit, then they're going to be routed out completely, paired up, and then they're going to be marked with that VIN and model number. So as we carry down the line, you'll see that they're going to be moving with the actual units. That way, again, no mismatch in size or color.
Is this one here? This is the side patio model?
It looks like it, yep, the 2 doors. Yep, 4213.
So you've got your frames over there, and then you use these overhead, what do you call them, trolleys, or?
Yeah, I just call it a crane. Or
a crane?
Right, yeah.
So basically the walls get hoisted up on that and then brought over there and put onto the frame?
Paired up, yep.
Cool.
Kind of the same thing with the floors. It'll just be a lot more hooks on the floor just because if it's a square piece, but
okay.
Yeah. They just hook up right in.
It's a side patio model.
All right, April's gonna take over the rest of the tour, guys. I gotta go with another group, take them through. So I'll see you guys later.
Look at all these sinks.
Yeah, nice size group today. A lot of manufacturers outsource their cabinetry. We don't. We have professional carpenters in-house in each of our facilities. We do this for a couple different reasons. When you outsource and things come in damaged, you have to ship them back out, wait for them to come back in. Also, this is a factory environment. Things are going to get dinged up and broken along the line. It's just bound to happen. So by having professional carpenters here on site, we can fix things on the fly, which keeps up with quality and it keeps up with the pace that we're at. Upstairs, they're going to do all the fascia, the front part of it, getting them perfectly 90 degrees before they ship them down here, add them onto the bigger pieces, and then load them onto the units themselves. They're going to build all of our trusses. Our trusses are 5.5-inch crown, 16-inch to center. That makes them fully serviceable, fully walkable. In between each of the wooden trusses, you're going to have a batten fiber insulation. You'll also have that batten fiber insulation across the cap of the unit. On top of that batten fiber insulation, you'll have a radiant foil. It kind of looks like aluminum foil, but it's similar to what a marathon runner might wear after a big race. So it deflects extra heat, keeps the inside consistent, and you can see that that goes over the cap as well. On top of that radiant foil is going to be a roof decking, then an adhesive layer, and then the PVC membrane, which we'll talk a little bit more about down further. At this point in the build process, you can see the venting coming up from the black and the gray tanks, which they'll cut down a little further down the line. You can also see wires coming up through. We put a wire chase in each of these units so that if you add something onto the top on down the road, you have a direct way to get the wires down to that main control board. We went to Coleman Mach and we asked them what the quickest, most efficient way to cool down a small space is, and they said just like in a car, dump AC is the way to go. Anytime you have ductwork, you lose 20 to 30% of your cold air just in the ducts before it ever gets to you. So we do as little ductwork as possible, mainly to the bathroom. Each of our units for Valor and Paradigm have 3 AC standard. They're each 13.5 BTU. Same goes as far as 13.5 BTU for Avenue, but they come with 2 standard. And then with 13.5 BTU, that means you can run 2 of them on a 30 amp, all 3 on a 50 amp. A lot of other manufacturers will do 2 15 BTU air conditioners, which sounds great because they're more powerful, but you're gonna have more ductwork, and you also can't run both of them unless you're on a 50 amp service.
Yeah, that's the roof on a roll.
They're done for the day. Usually they're done around 2 or 3. So PVC isn't a new material by any means to the industry, but it's newer in this use. TPO is very commonly used still. TPO is rubber-based. It's going to absorb heat. It's also going to contract over time, so that's why you constantly have to be checking those seals if you have a TPO roof. PVC is actually deflective of heat. So at any given time to go up and service one of our units, it's going to be much cooler up there than a TPO roof, which ultimately means your unit as a whole is going to be a lot cooler. We started with, I think, a 12-15 year warranty with our PVC membrane. Now we do lifetime. All the older units are grandfathered into that. If you back into a campsite and snag the PVC membrane with a branch, you can go to your local hardware store, get some PVC cement, and we'll walk you through how to patch it up. You get very much of a tear in a TPO roof and you're replacing the entire thing for several $1,000s. I think eventually it'll be the industry standard. It's just in this industry, it's slow to change. At this point, you can see too the solar panels. Valor now has 2 solar panels standard, as well as a lithium battery. The Paradigm and the Avenue will have 1 solar panel standard, but still prepped for a second in Avenue and 2 more in Paradigm. We always encourage people, if you're going to put in an order and you're not sure if you're going to use solar or not, even if you're kind of teetering on it, we encourage you to do the Solar Plus, because it's not as simple as just slapping on some more solar panels and slapping an inverter in the front. It's a different wiring process. So if it's at all possible to do it at a factory level, that's where we'd like to see it happen.
Did you hear it from up there? Here's a slide. Yep, that's for the bed. It goes right there. This is a 40V13.
So I'm sure Chandler let you guys know that when we build our walls, we build them as one solid piece, and then once we continue, finish routing out the slide out, it goes down the line with its original wall. So this is where those come back into play. Our slide outs are going to have, and these don't have them yet, but a bulb seal on the outside. It does have the bulb seal on the inside. It's the exact same kind of thing out here. They just haven't added it yet. 2 rain guard flaps, and then a rain guard and a whisk guard down here, as well as the corner guards. The industry as a whole, people were saying, well, I can see a little bit of light when I slide my slide in or out. And we thought, well, that's an easy fix, because everybody knows where you see light, there's potential for rain or critters or things like that we don't want inside our RVs. Anytime you have a window on the slide, it's going to act as a natural channel changer for these 2 rain guard flaps. If you don't have a window, then it's going to have these little black tabs that you see on the edge of this one, and that's going to change the direction of these. Some people say, oh, I didn't know those have a use. They do. Don't take them off, and they're going to change the direction of those rain guards. At this point, you can also see little pieces of tape. You see green over there. Usually you have some orange at this point. Here's light blue. We have about 4 or 5 different colors, and that's our quality control. So the color is going to indicate where a problem was picked up on the line. That way, if we had the same problem repeatedly, we can go back to the group or the station that it started with, address it with those people, and make sure that it doesn't keep happening. As we get closer to PDI, you'll see a lot more red, meaning this has to be fixed now before it goes out the door. In this portion, they're gonna be doing a lot of checks for quality, sliding the slides in and out, testing the lights, testing the ACs and the heating, things like that. They're also going to start installing bigger ticket items like the furniture, the TVs, things that we wouldn't want banged up or broken earlier in the line. And then going on forward to PDI, where they're going to do a lot more of the cleanup and little detail work that might still need done.
I have 2 questions real quick before we move away from the station.
Sure.
What caused them to go away from the Insignia stove and oven in the Valors?
To those 3-burner?
Yeah.
We're actually going to go back to the 4-burner because we heard you.
Okay.
We have heard you. It was really all about going to that 12-volt system and having as much be geared towards 12-volt as possible, with as many people that boondock and such in Valors. But we did get a lot of people saying, no, I want the 4-burner stove, I want the big oven. So we have a prototype right now for our longest unit yet in the Valor line. And it has a lot of the updates that we're going to do for the 2024 model year, and we are going back to that 4-burner stove.
Okay. And another question is, I believe earlier models had the main slide was cable driven.
Correct.
And what was the decision behind that and to change?
Our cable driven slide, I mean, it was just one of those things that we bought into. It was presented to us as a really good option for those slides, but it was pretty obvious pretty early that it wasn't the best choice for these bigger slides. So they made a switch pretty soon after they started making those. You know, it's always trial and error. In this industry, you want to try new things and hope that they're going to be better, like the PVC liner, but sometimes it turns out that no, it's not a better switch and we have to try something else. Alliance is really great about listening to you guys, you RVers. We did take a lot of time to listen to full-timers and weekenders before they even produced the first 15 Paradigm, but it's a growing process, just like anything. So we are listening, we are changing things even in the model year. So in 2023 model year, not long after we started, we went to key-alike system. We didn't wait for the next model year to be like, oh, look at this big change we did. It made it easier for our customers, so we went ahead and made those little switches.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah. But it's harder in campgrounds because you don't always have all that space, but for boondockers, it's awesome.
Side patio look familiar?
Yeah.
Somebody played Mario Kart on the side patio?
Yeah. And inside.
Oh, we've seen the blue at Team Journey Huddle. Somebody had the blue.
It's about 4 days, a little longer right now for Valor, and then we do a couple days of PDI. I am.
Cat and I love change.
Which part are you looking for? Like,
When we want.
Are we allowed to go in it?
Yes, she said we can go in.
I'm gonna see it and see if I like it.
I like they're a wider step.
Hello.
Electricity came.
Yeah.
What happened?
Electricity came in.
Yep.
Which one is this?
This is the 40V13. We did a Texas family camping video on this one where I pulled this couch all the way out and was laying down. And y'all were laughing at me because I was laying down.
This is the funniest thing and the coolest ever.
Oh, it's this one with those big
Yes. And we were worried about the glass on these doors, which I don't think has been a problem for anybody.
Yeah.
Soft closing hinges. But they got... Yes, all toy haulers have one, but I don't think I would fit in it. You can go out there.
Yeah.
right?
100.
Angle, right?
I like that they put washer dryer hookups now in 2 locations. You have an option.
If we get this RV, I call the couch.
The couch.
Yeah. I'm gonna just style the couch.
On both sides.
I like the shower because it has like this long,
That seems a little firm.
soft clothes. Oh, it's on these. Place this is where you put all your laptop stuff. You think that would be a good idea because this is kind of
I
small.
don't know. Yeah. Keyboard, trackball, that kind of stuff would fit. I don't know. It's so big. Like you could put giant tubs up there. Could put like my entire camping gear selection up there.
It's on the floor. I
That's
barely
a fuse. Well, they're inspecting these right now to make sure they're ready. See, there's wires on the floor. This isn't fully ready. They're still checking stuff out.
I don't notice it now that they slide.
So that's building number 2. That's where the paradigms are made, and then building number 1 at the front is where Valors are made. Here's a bunch of their stock sitting there waiting for delivery. Pretty much everything. Probably not any Deltas over there yet. You know what? I see an Alliance Valor here at the front that has gray on it. You see that? It's the very first thing we're about to pass. That is completely different from the other Valors. The way that the stickers and everything are going. So what is that? Is it something new? Something old? Kind of looks older, doesn't it? 44V14. Oh, they were mentioning about making their newest, longest Valor yet. I wonder if I'm about to get in trouble for showing it. Well, we just finished up our tour of the Alliance Valor factory. I also got to go in and check out the new Delta, their first ever just travel trailer that's not a toy hauler.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat. I also got to see something that I can't tell you about. I couldn't video it. All I could say was it was cool. And when the rest of you do see it, I could be like, aha, Gotcha.
Yes. And I walked through the first building, the first tour, but couldn't quite make it to the next.
Yeah, it was quite a bit of walking.
But yeah, it was pretty cool to see everything.
Yep. I like that they talked about some of the quality things. They answered our questions. They're definitely listening to the customers. One of the concerns I had was the fact that they had ties to Heartland, and Heartland has been having quality issues since. Well, the reason why these two brothers started the company was because when they sold Heartland to Thor, that's when they started seeing the quality issues. So they decided to start another brand where they could keep better control over the quality. And that was a concern that was on my mind. So we are still aware of, we've got some personal friends that are having some issues that we won't disclose yet. That's been a concern for us, but I still think that I would still consider getting one of these RVs, especially the toy haulers.
Definitely.
So, but thank y'all so much for watching this video. Remember that life happens.
Don't let it stop.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Subscribe.